Hello everyone, Nadezhda here, and today we are going to learn how to prepare the AutoCAD file for linking in the Revit. This is especially useful to you if you are trying to link a survey CAD file and you get that annoying notification that says that the distance is too great, or you get those annoying squiggly lines that mean that there is something wrong with your AutoCAD file. But this is going to be useful to you even for the regular CAD files, so you can clean them up a little bit and make them a little bit smaller and a little bit better for linking them in Revit. So let's begin. First I'm going to go to Insert and then I'm going to Link CAD. And I will just select this survey file that I have. I make sure that it is in correct units, and I will just link it origin to internal origin. I click open and I get this notification. It says that geometry has the extents that are greater than 20 miles. So the moment you get this notification, it means that you go to cancel. You should not be linking this file, because the moment this file is linked, your file is not going to be working properly. If you click OK now, we link, but we get this warning again, and basically we cannot use zoom extents, we cannot see our file. If I select it, I can see that it exists, but since I am not able to use this zoom to fit option, which is by the way activated when you double click on the mouse wheel, and I'm not able to use this properly because I don't know where the geometry is. I can see, for example, by accident I saw this smudge, and this is basically my file. And it has these squiggly lines, it looks very weird, and it definitely does not look the way it is supposed to look. So this file is useless to you, and you should not link it before you fix it. So let's learn how to fix it. I'm just going to go all the way back to the time before I had any of the files in the project. And this is how file looks in AutoCAD, and you can see that lines are not squiggly, it looks good. But the first issue we have to address is actually there existing some items that are very far away from this file. So I go to the zoom extents, I double click my mouse wheel, and as you can see, the same thing appears as in Revit. I can still see the smudge that is a little bit below. It kind of keeps moving away because file is too big, and I can see this smudge, and that is my project. But when I zoom extents, I can see that I can't see anything. And what I do in these cases is I take my selection and I kind of select everything that is outside of my smudge. That means the file actually. And I select everything. And now I can see that something is selected here, and this is probably the culprit. I can see that I have three weird lines. I don't know why these lines exist, but what I do definitely is I delete them. I also turn on the properties before deleting them, because I want to make sure that they are not blocks, because if they are blocks, there might be a part of something that is actually in my drawing. So I don't want to delete them if they are blocks, but I do want to handle them in some way. In this case, I can see that they are lines, so all I do is click delete. If they were blocks, you would basically have to enter a block and see what actually is inside that block, and basically get rid of the part of the block that is very much away from the main drawing. And now that I have done this, I double click, and now I can see that I can zoom extents, and it is actually showing a good extents. The other thing that you should do before doing this is actually make sure that all of your layers are visible. In this case, all of my layers are visible, but if some layers were not visible, basically the good practice would be actually turning on these layers before actually doing this, because sometimes this geometry is in the layer that is invisible. The next thing you should do is actually do this in also the z-axis, because what we did now is we have made sure that everything that is in the plan is actually good, but sometimes there will be files where you actually have something that is above this drawing. So what I do, I will just open one elevation view by clicking on this triangle here. Any elevation view will work, and I also do zoom extents. And here, for example, I can see that I have this geometry which I need, which are the isohypses of this drawing, but I have some items here that are actually also existing that I might not want to have. And I can see what it is, and it actually is some form of text, and in this case I'm just going to delete that text. I also have some numbers here, so I just grab it all and I delete it. And now I know that I have gotten rid of all of these faraway elements that were in my way in this file. So now I can just do the standard stuff. I can go first to Purge. I enter a Purge command, and I click Purge All and just purge this item until I am unable to click Purge anymore. You can sometimes do this even like 5 times. Basically, you keep clicking Purge All until this command is frozen. That means there is no more anything to purge. So once I have purged everything, I click Close, and then I go to Audit. I enter the Audit command, I click OK. You are asked whether you want to fix any errors. I say yes, and then I wait for the audit to be finished. Basically, that kind of cleans up your file a little bit. And the last command you do is Overkill. So I type in Overkill and click Enter. I select all of the objects that I have on my drawing and I click Enter. What this does, basically, it kind of gets rid of the overlapping lines. It cleans up your file a little bit. If you have the duplicate lines, duplicate arcs, etc., basically this command kind of cleans it up a little bit. So I click OK. Another thing you can actually do is you can flatten your drawing. Now this step is optional, and in this case I don't need it because I have this 3D geometry that I actually should be using in my project. But in case you actually want to turn your 3D drawing to 2D drawing, you can actually flatten it. And I will just go back to the top, to the position where it originally was, so it can retain this drawing once it's flattened. And I'm just going to select everything and insert flatten. I'm asked whether I want to remove the hidden lines, and I'm just going to say no here, and I click Enter. Now this part can last a lot depending on the size of your drawing. Be prepared to wait for a couple of minutes. Also, it is a good practice to save your file before this, because sometimes AutoCAD can crash during this process, but I will just let it roll for a couple of minutes and I will come back with the final result. And the flatten is finished after 3 or 4 minutes, and this is what we get. If I just rotate this drawing, we can see that all of these isohypses have become the regular 2D lines. So this can also be very useful to you if you have much of these 3D elements, if they are interfering with your geometry, if you have too much information like this and you just want to link the 2D drawing, it is always good to do this. And now I am back in Revit, and all I have to do now is to see if my file is alright, if that notification is persisting, and if anything else was in the way, because sometimes there will be various things in one file. So I go to Link CAD again, and I choose this one because that is the one that I have previously cleaned using all of these commands, and I click on Open. And now everything is working out. As you can see, this file is very clean, lines are very nice, they are no longer squiggly, and I no longer get the notification that there is a faraway geometry. I can also do the zoom extends easily, and this way I have cleaned my file and made it ready for being inserted in Revit. And that is it for this lesson. If you like my videos, like and subscribe. I post them very often. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next lesson. Bye! If you want to learn Revit like a pro, take a look at my architectural course through the link below. You will learn how to develop the project from concept to final design using Autodesk Revit. It is ideal for beginners but valuable for anyone looking to build a solid foundation. By the end, you'll know how to take a design from concept to detailed documentation with confidence and clarity. You will gain a solid Revit workflow you can actually use independently or in work in larger teams in architectural studios. With almost 100 structured video lessons, it is designed to help beginners master Revit step by step. To support your progress, I've included assignments with each lesson, plus the opportunity to ask questions and receive guidance directly from me whenever you need it. This way, you're not just watching tutorials, you're actively learning, practicing, and improving every step of the way. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.